Hey, YouTube. This is actually like my first YouTube live in a really long time. So, hey, we're talking about when your pets have to transition, they got to go. It's time for them to leave the earth plane. And it's really hard, right? I get a lot of people as an animal communicator who contact me and they feel really bad. I have one video that's like really old up, and you guys watch it and then you comment and you tell me your like heartfelt grief about your animals that have crossed over and how you feel really terrible and guilty and hearts broken about it. And I feel really bad. And I do, from time to time comment on, try to give you some words of consolation about it. And then every now and then someone will say something like, "Oh, you're such a terrible person." They say to me, like, I'm taking advantage of people. And I'm like, I don't get that. But it has to do with, I think, their belief systems around I don't know. It has to do with them making something good and turning it into something bad. Here, my Doberman. Well, I don't really understand it, but it's like kind of like if you were in a really bad jam and you had accidentally killed someone. You definitely need an attorney, right? So is that attorney evil because they're representing you? Like, I don't get it. Like, how are they taking advantage of you in a bad situation? They're helping you. Well, that's the same as I am. And there are those who believe that when there's a bad situation that you should never use your gifts and talents to make money, which is like, what? Anyway, I'm here for you guys, and I am concerned that there are so many people that are heartbroken. So I'm going to do this regularly, and you guys can type in your concerns, and I will answer them if you have a situation, and I can help to shed light on the situation. So first of all, what is animal communication? For those of you who have no clue as to what I'm talking about, and I haven't even really mentioned it yet, but animal communication is based on telepathy, and telepathy is using your entire body as a way to pick up and also to transmit energetic impulses, right? And this is so like that movie with Mel Gibson, What Women Really Want, something like that. And he's walking, he gets hit by lightning or something. And then all of a sudden now he can hear people's thoughts. And he was walking down the street and he can hear women, what they think of him. And they say, oh, he's, a real jerk and stuff. And he's like, oh my God, I can hear what these people are thinking. That's telepathy. It could be you're thinking of someone and all of a sudden they call you on the phone, like somebody that you don't usually talk to all the time. It's like out of the blue, they call you. That's telepathy. So there's something that happens. It's a matrix, right? That we're all interconnected. We actually aren't separate like we think we are. We're all interconnected. And what happens on the other side of the planet will affect us on this side of the planet. So, it's using the matrix to communicate, basically. And so people say, well, how does it show up? Like, what is a communication like? Do you hear something? Do you see something? Well, you can use any of the sense channels. So for instance, I'm not really good at every single sense channel because I haven't really worked like with taste and smell. I'm not as good at as those as I am with like hearing and seeing and feeling and physical sensations. Those I'm really good at because I practice it more. That's all. So when an animal crosses over, to the other realm, in other words, they leave their body, and this is what we call the death experience, right? They don't completely die. Their spirit, the animate part of them leaves their body, and their body is no longer functioning. But that spirit does stay on. Oftentimes it stays on quite a long time because they're the people that are the family members of this animal are grieving, and the animal is trying to console them generally and say, hey, look, I'm okay, and people often, have so much guilt over their animal's death. And sometimes, it can seem like it's our fault, like you say, oh no, Sue, it really was my fault, right? I definitely it was my fault, right? And you'll give me the story and stuff, but I'm gonna say that there's really something more going on for the most part. And if there was somebody here with a story or a question, I could answer it specifically. But since no one is here yet, I'm the only one on here. So I'm just going to have to kind of ramble on until others join on, if they do, But it's heartbreaking when they die. We just love them so much. And the reason why is because they are so allowing, they're so accepting, they don't give us resistance about what's happening, and they almost are our therapists oftentimes, right? They make us feel really good when the shit hits the fan. You know, that type of situation. They are very easy to get along with, right? Not like people. I mean, there are some people that are easy to get along with, but people for the most part are problematic, okay? And they have minds that really definitely get in the way. So it's very easy to be with animals. And when it's their time to transition to the other side, it's heartbreaking because we are losing that being that understands us and accepts us like people don't, and it's really hard. And so, and you think about all the time that you spend, like if you have a dog, you walk your dog every day, or maybe you don't, but you definitely are spending time with them, or maybe you don't. But for the people that are really in love with their animals, they are giving them quality time. So all the things you do for them, you feed them, you walk them, you clean up after them. That's a lot of time every day. And when the animal is no longer there in physical form, there's a real loss because we are so used to this routine of doing all these things, and now we don't have to do those things. So it really hits home that the animal is not there anymore. And it is so heartbreaking. It's just so terrible each and every time they go. And, we may reflect on how we could have done this or we should have done that. And we kind of beat ourselves up, And I want to say this is the human experience. This is what people do. I don't care how good of a animal parent you were, pet parent, you still are going to do this. Okay. And you got to let that go. And it's really a process of being very gentle with yourself and loving yourself, being kind to yourself. And when there's situations when you didn't do everything right, okay, maybe you forgot to do something or you didn't realize something and then your animals perished because of it. I had a roommate where he actually pulled out of the driveway really fast and he ran over his own cat and it died. He felt really, really bad. I mean, I would too. But it was an accident, right? He didn't do it on purpose. If he had done it on purpose, probably wouldn't have felt bad. But he didn't do it intentionally. So that's the point, is that we've got to find a way to move up the emotional scale from where we are in our feelings of guilt, hopelessness, grief. These are very, very low frequency emotions. And we want to feel better. I mean, we can't bring the animal back, but when you can hear the animal's viewpoint about what they think and how they feel and how they see you, and you really can understand where they're coming from. And so that they're always positive. They're never like negative Nelly and Nelson. They aren't Susie Downer types. They're very, very positive and uplifting with their messages. So that's a relief, because imagine if they were like people. Now, of course, there are nice people, but I'm just saying they aren't like people. That's why we love them. They're open, they're available, and they love us no matter what, right? They're accepting with us of, we're having a bad day. We holler at them because we're in a bad mood. They just love us anyway. We should be more like them. And this is why we want to be with them. So nobody's here, but if you're watching this in the replay, I'm going to do this regularly. So look out for, subscribe and look out for more of these. And then I can take your questions. And if you're interested in having an animal communication session, you can find me on Facebook, Susan Hill Animal Communicator. And I don't have a website. Well, I have one, but it's not really finished. I used to have one, and then I kind of got rid of it. Websites come and go. And then I had just funnels and stuff. And so now I'm kind of getting back into, after a long hiatus of through the pandemic, right? A lot of stuff has been going on. I'm really feeling called to serve at a higher level now. And I'm working on a book, and the book is going to be great. And it's all about the pandemic, but from a fantasy viewpoint. I'm going to tell you more about that book later. But anyway, I'm here to help you to move through your grief. And I'm not here to take advantage of you in any way. It's not like that. I'm just your friend. And I'm just somebody that can, I started out this whole journey as an animal communicator because I lost my beloved dog, and he had bone cancer. Talk about guilt. I was the one that fed him the food and caused him to get the bone cancer. Of course, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't know any better. And it really caused me to go deeply into health and nutrition. And then I had another dog that got cancer. And talk about more guilt, So there's always guilt. There's going to be guilt. But I'm going to show you how to move through it, and you're going to feel better. And that's the whole point, that we're going to help each other and make the world that we want to live in. Okay? So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Peace.